20.4 Conservation. Please remember to revise objectives by the end of the studying to make sure that you covered studying the lesson properly. Conservation. What's conservation? It's protection, using something wisely, or taking care of something. So let's see the scientific definition. It is the process of looking after the natural environment which attempts to maintain and increase the biodiversity of an area. So, when you take care of the natural environment, this will increase the biodiversity, the number of populations in an area, and of course, this means maintaining the ecosystem. Nature provides two types of resources: renewable or sustainable resources and non-renewable or unsustainable resources. So, what does sustainable mean? Sustainable means that we can produce it as rapidly as consuming it. But in order to make it sustainable, we need to keep in mind that whatever we're using, we need to replace. Yes, they get replaced quickly, but we have to do the work. We have to replace them. Again, renewable or sustainable resources. These are resources that are produced rapidly as it is removed from the environment. It does not run out. Like what? Like fresh water by the water cycle, or wood by planting more trees. So they are limited by the rate at which they can be produced. This means that if we manage them carefully and we always take care that we replace what we use, they will stay there, they will not end. Non-renewable resources, such as fossil fuels, they take millions of years to get replaced, so we need to use them wisely and make sure that we try to substitute them with sustainable resources, because once they are used up, they take a very, very long time to be replaced, and this might not be in our era. Like what? Like coal, oil, natural gas. So these resources need to be conserved because by reducing their amount, we will not be able to replace them easily. So we need to reduce the amount we use regularly. Let's look at some sustainable resources. So some resources that we can conserve and manage sustainably are, first, forests. As we mentioned before, tropical forests have the highest biodiversity. So burning them, thousands of different species get destroyed because they lose their homes. So we need to carefully manage that we plant as many trees as we can. We need to make sure that we keep them as they are, and we can use other resources, or we can plant other trees for our use. And even if we used some of the trees, we need to make sure to plant them back again into the rainforest. Also, we have the fish stock. So the number of fish in an area is called the fish stock. Around 1/3 of all the fishing areas around the world have been damaged by overfishing. 1/3, this is a huge percentage. So we need to make sure that we manage to conserve the fish that we take out of the fishing areas. Why? Because by time, this can cause that the population of fish decrease dramatically, and we will not have fish as a source of food and as a main population in the aquatic food web or the aquatic ecosystem. Endangered species. This is a species that is in a serious risk of becoming extinct, that they will disappear and they will not be there on Earth for the next generations. So once the species becomes extinct, this means that it's gone forever. We will not be able to return them back. Why do species go extinct? First, climate change, habitat destruction and pollution. All those problems, all those side effects of habitat destructions can cause some species to go extinct, and we said that by removing a species from the food web or from the ecosystem, this can disrupt the whole ecosystem of this area. Introduction of new species to an ecosystem which can disrupt the food web. What do I mean by this? Now imagine this. I have a food web where I have grass, grasshoppers, and birds. So grass here is the producer. And then we have the grasshoppers. These are the herbivores. And we have birds. These are predators that will get their energy from eating the grasshoppers. So this ecosystem is balanced. We have source of food, source of energy, and the predators. So this keeps everything in balance. But imagine this. What if I put a rabbit into this, or a couple of rabbits into this ecosystem? What will happen? Do I have a predator for the rabbit? Of course not. The birds cannot eat rabbits. They will not be able to take their energy from rabbits. So the rabbits will keep eating the grass uncontrollably, and they will accordingly increase in number. So this is introducing a species that is not included in the balanced ecosystem. So what will happen next? Grasshoppers will not find their own food, so they will start dying out. What will happen to the birds? The birds will not find their own food, which was the grasshoppers. So the birds accordingly will start disappearing too. And by time, rabbits will increase and increase and increase, and they will consume all the grass. And this means that the whole ecosystem in this area got destroyed. Why? Because I introduced a new species that does not belong in this ecosystem. Overharvesting. Of course, overharvesting can destroy an entire species of plants. If we take them all out without leaving some for reproduction, this will cause this species of plants to disappear. Hunting by humans, either for food or sport. So sometimes humans hunt animals for other reasons than food, like sport. So this is too much killing without a reason. And when we kill too much animals, there is of course a risk of them going extinct. Conserving endangered species. Now we know that this is very dangerous and it's not required. So we need to conserve them or use wisely, or we need to make sure to protect them and keep them safe. First, monitoring and protecting. First, we need to start by monitoring and protecting a species in its natural habitat. So I will leave the species in its habitat, but I will take care that it's protected and living normally. What if it's already endangered? It's already becoming extinct. I have only few of them on the planet. Now I can do captive breeding programs. We can take them, put them in special zoos, and give them the chance to breed together and increase the number of their population. Seed banking. This is for endangered plants. We can take the seeds of those plants and keep them in a bank so that if we see that they are reducing dramatically, we can replant them in other areas. Educating local people. If I have local people besides the natural habitat of an endangered animal, I have to educate them that they do not hunt those animals and they need to take care of them, and they need to know what keeps them from going extinct. Making laws to ban hunting. Some people will not follow the education, or they will not see the importance of that. So in order to protect the animals away from their thoughts or beliefs, the people's thoughts or beliefs, we need to put laws to ban hunting and protect those animals from the moral compass of the people living beside them. So there must be consequences for hunting endangered animals. Let's answer some questions together. Which activity will be least likely to lead to extinction of a species? Least likely. This means that I am looking at the activity that will keep the animal. Make sure that you read the question carefully. And of course, it is conservation. What is used in the conservation of a species? So now I need something that will help me conserve a species. It is seed banking. Fish called trout and other fish used to be caught commercially in the Great Lakes of Canada. However, canals built between the lakes before 1900s allowed a predator fish, the lamprey, to enter the lakes. The lamprey feeds on trout. it caused the fishing industry to collapse. Figure 5.1 shows fish catches over 65 years. So here you go. This is the graph of the different years and the different amount or the total fish catch. State at which 5 years period the greatest mass of fish was caught. Okay, it is 1905 to 1909. You see here, this is the highest number of fish that was caught ever. The smallest mass of fish caught. Again, you will look at the graph and you will see the smallest one. It's 1960 to 1964, which is the most recent one. Between 1900 and 1904, this number of fish were caught. Between 1960 and 1964, this number of fish were caught. Calculate the reduction in the fish catches between 1900 and 1964. You will do a simple subtraction and then you will multiply it with the factor. In 1944, barriers were placed in the canals to stop lamprey entering the lakes. Suggest whether the barriers were effective or not. Explain your answer. Explain questions have to be answered in a paragraph. Please don't forget this, and you have to mention all your reasons. So the answer will be no, the barriers were not effective because the fish population still dropped or decreased. Studies have shown that human activities can affect trout numbers. Suggest 3 human activities that could cause the trout numbers to drop. Of course, overfishing, water pollution, habitat destruction, predation and disease, all of these are effects of humans' activities. Describe 2 methods of conserving endangered species. All of the methods of conserving endangered species, making laws, educating people, captive breeding, monitoring and protection. Why didn't I mention the seeds banking? Because here we're talking about animals or fish in this question. Thank you, and I hope this video helps you study.